I was on Messenger one night when I received a message from a man calling himself Bill Marshalls. He said he found my comments intriguing and hoped he was not infringing upon my privacy by sending me a message. He said his friend request had failed to go through and he was wanting to get to know me. At the time I was eating dinner and I wasn't answering him right away. He tried to video call me, but I didn't answer in a timely manner. His side was blacked out and he asked me to wave. Well, I waved with my fork with spinach at the screen and my face. He then hung up and asked us to chat on WhatsApp as he found me attractive and had to make sure I was as beautiful in a video call as my profile picture. He said he was in the military and he had a military uniform on in his photo. He did message me that he was a sergeant in the military and currently in Syria for a peacekeeping mission. He said he was a widow and his daughter was away in boarding school in London. He told me he was 48 years old and had been alone for the last 10 years. When he'd asked for my WhatsApp, to which I had given it to him, and I thought he was handsome and I guess I was interested at the time. He had called me on WhatsApp and he told me he was from DC, but he had a house in Miami and a house in Los Angeles. I at the time lived in Maryland. He had a thick accent, to which he told me he was born in Dublin, Ireland, and lived there until he was 25 years old. He said his parents were German though, and they spoke German. He said a few phrases to me in German, which I had no idea what he said because I don't speak that language. We started this online relationship / kind of friendship. He would often want me to send him videos of myself. Nothing bad, just saying hello and telling him how I felt about him, things like that. He said he was on deployment for 4 more months and then he would return home. He said the conditions there were terrible and he often went without food as they only had the military appointed meals and his bank account was frozen, so he didn't have money for the commissary to buy really good food. A few times he had asked me for iTunes to keep us talking, and I would send him cards here and there. One time he asked me for $300 for commissary money. I ended up sending $300 through a bank transfer to a military commissary agent in DC, where he said all the troops received their money to be put on the books. He would call me nightly, and our relationship began to bloom. He would send me loving poems, song links. He really cared. He asked if he could come and visit me as he couldn't stand to be away from me and he wanted us to meet. He said he didn't want to wait all of those months before meeting. I told him I would love for him to visit me, and he sent me a form to apply for his military vacation leave. I filled out the form and attached a copy of my license. Then emailed it to the director. The director emailed me back asking for either my bank account routing and password to my online banking or a copy of the front and back of a major credit card to secure his leave. When I asked what this was for, the director said it's a security measure. In the event the soldier does not return to the deployment zone, I would be held financially liable for everything. I was shocked, but I went ahead and sent a copy of my credit card. He then sent me the fee report. During this time, Bill kept telling me that he loved me and he wanted to marry me and he couldn't wait for us to be together and he would pay me back as soon as he got home. The fee for his leave was $2,500. It was to be made payable to the same person who accepted his commissary deposit. I ended up using what savings I had to send the money through my bank transfer to another bank account. He told me that he couldn't wait to thank me in person and was going to take me out for a romantic dinner, and he promised to pay me back double my money that I had spent. It all went so fast, but I felt like he was the man of my dreams. Once the transfer went through, Bill asked me to send a copy of the transfer so he could show his commander in charge and pack for his flight. He even sent me a copy of his flight itinerary. A few days later, Bill stopped talking to me. He didn't send songs or messages like he normally would do right on the clock. I tried several times to reach him, but he didn't respond. I even emailed the military who sent me the bank information, but they didn't respond. I started to think something went wrong when I got a message on WhatsApp from a man named George, who told me that Bill had been redeployed to Iraq for a special mission, and he wouldn't be able to come, but his leave would be put on hold for 2 more months, and he wanted to let me know, as Bill wasn't given the opportunity to send me a message before the military redeployed him for a top-secret mission. George told me Bill said to please wait for him and he would be in touch soon. I was very upset, but I tried to be understanding to the military rules in life. I waited for 3 months and never heard from Bill again, nor did I hear from George or anyone who I had contact with in the prior months. I sent message after message, email after email. Finally, I sent an email from a military website I found online and received a reply urging me to file a fraud report, as it sounds like I was scammed, as military personnel don't need money for leave and it's not the protocol. I was devastated, upset, and felt so used. From that point on, I get tons of messages on my social media from military men. I now know all of them are fake. I also had to cancel my credit card, as shortly after sending it I started getting suspicious transactions, which thankfully my credit card company stopped before they went through, as they sent me alerts prior to authorizing the charges. Most of them came and they were all for online purchases. Someone had tried to buy a new iPhone with my credit card and it was declined as it exceeded my credit limit. A lot of these purchases all came on the same day. I don't talk to strangers online anymore, and I certainly don't look for love online. We'd like to thank this lady for sharing her story. Unfortunately, military romance scams are always out there. Please know, real military men don't need you to pay for anything, pay for a leave, or talk to their commander. And the large majority of military men that are deployed are not sitting online day and night chatting with strangers. If you'd like to share your story, we can go ahead and narrate it into a video. You can drop us an email, scammingscammers@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook under the page Scamming Scammers Cyber Education. We can verify your story and narrate it into a video. You can remain completely anonymous. Until then, stay safe and remember, don't transfer money. Give copies of your credit card or bank information to anybody you meet online, no matter what story they tell you. Keep that information to yourself. Stay safe.